Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'll be looking at renting versus buying a 2-bedroom apartment in Dubai Hills. Now, this is one of the most popular recent areas of Dubai and everyone seems to want to move there. Very popular, lovely community, lots of building options, lots of facilities, amenities, you name it, it seems to have it. And given the location too, it's a very popular place. It's also seen extreme increases in price recently. So I was curious to know, is it still worth buying there or should you just rent? I think that this is going to be one of those areas that is actually better to rent in most cases. But let's see. I'm going to compare real 2025 data. I'm looking at this in March. I'm going to compare renting versus buying financially using a calculator which I've developed. Calculate the total cost of renting or buying and understand the time frames of each option. The time frame here is going to be quite important. How long are you going to hold on to that investment for it to make sense? All of this I do mainly for fun, actually. I'm interested in Dubai property and the whole real estate space. I am not an agent. I am not trying to sell you a property here or an idea. I am just giving free advice. If you're interested to get some more personal advice, please let me know and I'm sure I can help you out. So let's dive in to Property Finder and see if we can find an appropriate 2-bedroom apartment to do some numbers on. So I've just jumped onto Property Finder and searched Dubai Hills Estate, buy apartment, 2 bedrooms, and I've just selected ready units only. There's already a number of different buildings for different prices. So you would need to look at this in a bit more detail yourself if you're interested in buying or renting one of these. But I am going to stick to simply the first one, which is Golf Suites, which seems like a very nice building near the golf club there. And we're going to go for a 2-bedroom unit. Now, this is obviously a brand new unit as well, so there's not going to be too much data on it, but there is enough for us to do the calculation. I think this is going to be representative of most things you will find in Dubai Hills. So we've got the unit. Now let's have a look at how much this rents for. So we're going to assume 2.8 million dirhams here, and we are going to look for similar properties, the same building, rent, 2 bedrooms. We've got 16 apartments to choose from, and all of them seem to be between 170 and 180,000 dirhams a year. So the one I am going to be assessing is basically the first one again, so 178,000 dirhams. Now, jumping into the calculator, our rent price is 178,000, our buy price is 2.8 million. Just to start with, we're going to look at 10-year time frame. The sell price. Now, I honestly don't think that these apartments are going to go up in value drastically. So just to make it very safe initially, let's just keep the price exactly the same in 10 years. Unlikely. I think it will go up a bit. I don't think it's going to double, but it will likely go up a little bit more than just break even. So let's be pessimistic here and just keep it at the same price we buy it at. The annual service and maintenance charge on this unit is very expensive. This is actually one of the most expensive service charges I've ever seen in and assessing probably hundreds of properties by now. It was around 32 dirhams per square foot. And though this unit is about 1,100 square feet, some of that will be balcony and the calculation is slightly different. Anyway, I'm going to assume it's 32,000. You do get your AC included in that, but still extremely expensive service charge in this building. Mortgage term, we're going to keep 25 years. Mortgage interest currently is around 4.2 and the down payment is 20% if it's a first time mortgage. So what does this tell us? Well, it's telling us to buy because over this time frame, you will have spent 1.8 million dirhams on rent. And the total cost to buy the place, live in it, and then sell it at the end and pay all of the appropriate fees is going to be 1.357 million dirhams. The total difference is 440,000 or 44,000 dirhams a year. Now, that is probably enough of a difference for most people, although some may worry about the headaches to do with maintaining a property and including that risk of the property price potentially going down. So it's still worth it, definitely. It's definitely going to make you better off to buy it rather than rent it at this price, but only time will tell if some of these prices change. And of course, you can simulate a lot of things with this calculator. Now, upfront cost for renting is 18,000, including agent fees, etc. Monthly rent repayment is going to be about 15,000. Compare that to the mortgage. Buying up front is going to be 767 or 768,000 dirhams. Your monthly repayment is going to be about 12,000, including that massive service charge. It's going up to about the same as the renting. So you're only pocketing an extra 94 dirhams a month by buying it. That is also a little bit of a worry, because if you've paid all this up front, you kind of want your monthly repayment to be a bit less. And I think that service charge does hurt you a bit. Now, the net yield on this property, by the way, if you were buying it to then rent out as an investment, this is not a good deal. It's definitely not a good deal. But for an end user who really wants to live there, this is okay, because at least the yield is slightly higher than the interest rate. If you came to moving and then renting this out to someone else, you would still be able to just about cover the mortgage payment with the rent you'd get, and also it could be a nice future investment. But taking a look at the figures again, let's model a couple other things. Let's just drop this time frame to 5 years. You can see over 5 years, obviously the numbers change quite a lot, and it's actually a lot more similar to rent versus buy, live in, and then sell. So you can see it is still a positive difference for buying, but there are various risks involved in buying and then eventually selling. The price could go down. So if this for some reason went down to just 100,000 dirhams, you would be in the red on this side. If it went up though, let's say it can go up to perhaps 3.2 million, which I think is not outrageous. You've got a massive win here in just 5 years. That's almost 100,000 dirhams a year difference. Now that's assuming quite a strong increase over just 5 years. So if we split that over 10 years, this is where I think it is more likely. I think this property may end up somewhere in the 3.2 million range, which would get you a nice boost of about 840,000 in terms of difference over 10 years. But for some people, that might not be enough of a reason to buy it. Also, you can drop the mortgage term if you're trying to pay this off early as an investment. You can also have a play with this. So let's say changing it to 15 years. It would actually make you better off in the long run, but you would need to repay a lot more than you would be paying for rent. So this is another thing you can do with the calculator. By the way, I didn't show this in my last video, but there is an extra tab here for all of the fees, including all of the buying fees I've listed. The only one that isn't included is the additional fees from the agencies. Perhaps they have a conveyance fee or something like that. It also does a quick mortgage calculation. All the mortgage registration fees, including valuations, are all here. And there is a mortgage amortization table, which you can use to your advantage. So what is it worth doing in this case? Is it worth renting or buying this property? It's hard to say, in my opinion. I think if we stick to the original sort of setup and look at the difference in years, I feel that unless you really love this property, it doesn't really make that much financial sense to buy it over renting it. I think other investments could get you a better return on your money, on your 767,000 dirhams that you'd be putting in up front. Perhaps investing in a low-cost ETF or anything else will actually be better. The thing you can't get away from though is, do you have somewhere to live in the future? If it's somewhere you really want to be and you know you're going to stay there for, let's say, 10 years, you could pocket yourself another 440,000 dirhams, which is a decent chunk of money, but perhaps not enough to warrant that initial expense. What I'd be doing is either investing in a more developing area or perhaps looking at a villa, because you can buy a house for this price, and I honestly think that the house is going to be a better investment for you both personally and financially. Let me know what you think, guys. Feel free to download and use this calculator completely for free. There's no email address requirement. There's no credit card details. There's nothing like that. I'm honestly just giving this away to help you better understand your financial situation in Dubai with regards to renting or buying. If you've got any questions for me, drop them in the comments. And if you'd like me to review a particular area or investment, let me know as well. Have a go with this yourself, because you will actually learn quite a lot from just doing the maths up front, and then you'll have a much clearer understanding of the whole process. That's PropertyAdvice.ae. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.